it's about to go down.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Smashing Kidney Disease. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Thank you for watching. Look, guys, I want to send a shout out to Nashonda Larimore. She started her first live broadcast today, Transplant Talk. She had over 50 people up in the broadcast. Now, that's what we need here. This was her first show. We done over 400 shows. We never had over 50 people. So look, let's get 50 people tonight. But I like to thank Shonda for a great show tonight that she had, Transplant Talk, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Also, I like to send special thoughts and prayers to, and I forgot her name. Oh, my God. Rhonda Hill. She got her transplant today. Rhonda D. Hill. So send thoughts and prayers over there. Send thoughts and prayers to man, my mind is just going blank today. What's her name up in Piedmont Hospital? I can't think of her name. I'm so sorry, DeVoe, but that's her last name. Leslie. I'm sorry, Leslie. But yes, send your thoughts and prayers over to Leslie DeVoe up at Piedmont Hospital. She's there for COVID-19 and pneumonia. She's battling that. So please send thoughts and prayers. So tonight, we have a great guest. This gentleman just started dialysis several months ago, and he's experienced a lot in the short several months. I want to let him tell you his story. He's a pastor here in Baltimore, Maryland. He's a minister of music. He's a kidney warrior, entrepreneur. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Pastor Steve Music Man Turner. Hey, what's going on, Pastor Turner?
I'm all right, sir. God bless you.
Wait a minute, let me move this banner. Okay. Wait a minute, so people can see your face. There we go. How's it going?
I'm taking it day by day. It's a new day. I live by many new restrictions.
Right.
Yes.
So how long? Let's just go straight to your story. How long has it been since you started dialysis?
Well, I started dialysis in Sinai Hospital. I went there in the second week of February. I was feeling pretty bad for a couple of months, and I had. They told me I had double pneumonia and the flu, which I believe now was the virus because I was on a ventilator.
Wow, double pneumonia.
Yeah, and the flu, and so they put me on a ventilator and a heart monitor. And eventually, they told me that my blood wasn't acting right. I needed oxygen, and that I needed to have a transplant. I'm not a transplant, blood transfusion. And so then it's like every day was something new, something negative to me. And then at some point, he said, "Well, I got to tell you this: you've got to take dialysis." I said, "Dialysis? Who for who? For who? You ain't talking to me." So I'm talking to you. And so if you leave now, it's not gonna be good. As a matter of fact, you just got here in the nick of time. And so I think they told my wife while I was actually, I guess, somewhere else getting tested, that we didn't think he was going to make it. That's how bad it was. Yeah. So she didn't tell me that till like sometime here in April. So uh, at some point, so I went down there and they wheeled me down to the basement of Sinai, and it's like almost like a pre-morgue. You sit there or lay there, and it's a long wait to get taken down there. It's a long treatment, and it's a long process to get back upstairs to your room. Thought I would never make it. Sometimes I felt like busting out, but I was too jittery to when I finished with the treatment. So I eventually, after 9 days in the hospital, I think they were trying to keep me for more. I just, kind of went gangster and said, I got to go. Okay. And they tried to do all kind of strategies to keep me in there. They're sending different doctors and different nurses that I liked and trying to do psychology. I said, no. She said, well, hey, listen, sometime, we have patients here. One's been here 45 days. I said, not me. I got to go. I got things to do. I got a talk show to do. I got to go play in church. I got to do stuff. So I'm out. And so finally, at some point, after different layers of doctors tried it, didn't work. I got out of there and made it. So before I went out, the social worker came and said, you've got to continue dialysis. And where would you like to go? To a DaVita dialysis center. And so I would have known anything about it if it wasn't for you actually educating folks and talking about DaVita to some degree. I said, well, close to my house. So I picked out one that was close to Ricestown Road. And she said Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. I said, no, don't want that.
Well, Steve, let
Yeah.
me ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but take me now.
It's your show, sir.
What did you have any pre-existing conditions like do you have diabetes type 2 or high blood pressure that put you at risk for kidney disease?
I am the last of my family. All 7 died with high blood pressure and diabetes. So I was
Are you
working.
serious?
Yeah, I was working for I think the East Baltimore Community Corporation as an employment specialist, and I started feeling bad, and dragged myself up the hallway to the. It was a nurses unit once a week. Thank God they were there, and felt bad. And they said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I don't know." They said, "Okay, oh, do me a favor, stick out your hand." I said, hey. So I put my hand out, and she jabbed it with a needle. I'm like, "What the heck?" She said, "Your blood sugar is in the 400s." She said, "How do you want to go to the hospital? Call you an ambulance." I said, "No, we parked the car in the garage. Can't do that. I will never get my car out. It's a Friday. I will drive myself to the hospital." She said, "I highly advise you not to do that." I said, "That's the only way I can go." She said, "You promised me you're going to go." I did. And I ended up laying on a gurney next to one of my clients. his blood sugar was 410. Mine was 440. And I blamed him for my situation. I learned that you can't get out of the hospital. The doctor has some measure of control. She said, the only way you're going to get out of here is if your electrolytes return. So they had the saline bag, and I was stuck there for several hours. And that was my first stint. And it seems like, I don't know how I can put it, but, my doctor has been yelling at me for quite some time about getting myself together, losing weight, protecting my eyes and all that. And she said, if one day she told me, if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to go blind. And, I've had battles with my eyes. I've got to go tomorrow to have an outpatient procedure. This is not pretty now. This is not pretty. It's the high blood pressure has produced blood in the back of my eyes. So every 3 months, I've got to go and get needle injections. Now, you can imagine how pleasant that is to release the
hey, listen, I had to deal with retina issues with a torn retina. So that was out of nowhere. And so I know exactly, man. Wow. Now, Steve,
you got to be a warrior.
Let me kind of shift gears just a little bit because you're a pastor. And in the beginning, Urban Kidney Alliance tried to disseminate or get information into the faith-based organization and churches. Why? And we've been rebuffed many times. Why is it so hard to educate in African American churches on health and chronic diseases? Your opinion?
My opinion is that well, that's varied. The pastor would have to embrace it in terms of trying to help the people, and then sometimes the officials would have to embrace what the pastor is talking about, uh, and then trying to get the people involved. Uh, I guess the point for some pastors, I guess I hate to do this, but uh, are you? Is it any profit in it?
I'm sorry.
Is there any profit in it?
No, no, free information.
There you got your answer right there. uh, did you catch it?
Oh, so what are you saying, that it needs to be something that involves money?
I just said it, sir. For some, it's what's in it for us. So I'm not saying they all do it,
Oh,
but
what's in it for them is the education of their parishioners that suffer from diabetes and hypertension.
yeah, you would have to have love for your sheep to have that happen. But if you're coming in and it's at the church's expense for lighting and materials or food or whatever,
No,
then
it's none
it
of
depends
that.
on the discretion.
It's after service, and I bring everything, all the equipment. I just need the people to be there.
You don't have a church, do you?
No, I don't have a church.
Okay,
But
well,
I'm just saying,
there may
in the
there may
past, when I tried to
may be some
collaborate with churches to do an education session, I never got call back.
there may be some fear that you were trying to start your own congregation.
Are you
I've had
serious?
that experience. I mean, you asked me for the truth. I'm just telling you. I've had some experiences where I was doing a Christian nightclub years ago, and I wanted to met with pastors and said that we don't want your frontline singers and musicians. We just want those who are in the back of the congregation or the second line, the third line, who've always wanted to do it and never knew how. And so, well, what are you trying to do? Take my members? I'm like, no, sir. I'm just trying to enhance the members that you have, and you can come too. You can come. Matter of fact, you can get in free because it was a paying Christian nightclub on Frederick Avenue. And so, but I found that they were very possessive and very insecure. We
Wow.
could probably enhance the city tremendously and solve crime and do a whole bunch of other things if all pastors would link arms and go together to fight the enemy as opposed to fighting ourselves.
Wow.
It's very territorial, very territorial.
So let me ask you, Pastor Turner, what are your now that you started dialysis? I mean, you started as acute kidney injury at Sinai Hospital, and they discharged you to an outpatient unit. You've seen our shows even before going into the hospital. Now, having to cross over the other side and starting to do dialysis, what are your views on outpatient in-center dialysis, especially these big Fortune 500 companies that are setting up shop in urban communities?
Well, I think I mentioned this on the program that we talked about before, that the patients are the new cotton. Money making, every chair it's $1. It's really it's like a paper mill. When I come in, it's basically that I could get there early and end up waiting around. Say I get there 2:45, I got to wait to sometime 3:20. But if I'm running behind, then I got to hear a lecture about how I need to be on time and blah 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 blah. And, it's a rush.
Yeah, we seen that all the time, especially when I was working. Yep, yep, you're right about that. You're right.
I can't. Yeah, I can't even get my coat off. I got to come in and put my coat on the chair and take off my cell phone and my wallet in my pocket. And it's standing like like, can you hurry up? Can you get it done? Did you weigh yourself? I'm like, no. I feel like saying no, yo. I didn't weigh myself yet. Let me get myself together. And I walk back down the half a mile to the machine and weigh myself, and then I'll come back. How about that? I really feel like saying that, but I gotta, because you don't want no attitude. You want to be cut short of your treatment.
So you feel when you get into the facility, you feel rushed from the moment you enter the door.
Oh yeah, the only warmth I normally have is from the receptionist. But now, since the coronavirus, she's got to. I may have a mask on, and I must take her mask. Then I got to lean over and get my temperature taken, and then ring the bell. I got to wait for somebody to come get me, and go
How
from there.
they taking your temperature?
For the coronavirus situation.
No, how they taking it? Are they taking it orally, or they use a digital scan on your forehead?
Digital scanner on the forehead, the side of my head, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. They do it when I walk in, when I come in, as I sit in the chair, they may come over there and scan me again. I'm like, what did my temperature change between the time I walked in to now? I mean, it's incredible.
Well, let me ask you, Pastor Turner, do the staff seem scared or nervous working with the patients since this corona outbreak?
No, they no, they don't. Not scared at all. Actually, it's basically business as usual.
It's business as usual.
They tell you that put your mask up. They'll tell you to put your mask up if in case I'm trying to talk on the phone, and I've got my mask down or up. One of the supervisors, she's Asian, will yell out, "Put your mask up, Mr. Turner."
Right.
Like, wow,
right.
He's annoying, but it's one of those things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Steve, what's the scariest thing you witnessed at dialysis?
Well, it depends on what day it is, but I've seen
what
a guy next to me. Depends on what day it is. I've seen a guy actually pull his tubes out and blood flow everywhere.
Wait a minute. Hold
up.
Why
he does that.
You seen a gentleman pull his needles out of his arm?
Yeah, that's what he did. Blood everywhere. He had to clean it up and all that nonsense.
Did it get on you?
No, because that would be a problem. No, but thank God.
And what happened? Was he mad? Was it mental illness involved?
I think it's mental illness. Yeah, that's what because he's always trying to get somebody to help him do something, and he's got some problems. There was another guy that he was taking treatment, and at some point he just disappeared. He said he was over at the mall when it was open shopping, and he was gone for like 4 hours, but they let him come back in. It's like it's like a zoo or something.
Oh, the guy came for dialysis. Yeah. He didn't wait for his chair time. He went across the street to Ricestown Plaza Mall, and he came back 4 hours later.
Yeah, and they laughed about it. I mean, but if I'm like 5 minutes late for any reason, then it's a major issue. I'm not sure what's going on. So.
Right. Well, did they put him on the machine?
If eventually he just has a problem of staying on the machine.
Yeah, well,
Likes to do his own thing.
long as the blood hits the dialyzer, the companies don't matter because they'll charge. You can be on dialysis and get off in 30 minutes. You're still going to get charged for the whole treatment.
It's like a cab meter, actually.
Wow. So right now, what type of access do you have?
I have a chest access, or should I say, a chest deformity. That's where I
You
feel.
have a chest catheter. You have a catheter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have the doctors or anybody approached you about getting the access in your arm?
Approached at some point or talked about. I don't say every time I go in, but it's talked about. They look at my chart and say, "Oh, he's in time
End
renal,"
stage. End
and
stage.
it's, it's like they want me to be end stage. I'm like, no, I'm not end stage. I am AKI. Look at that chart a little further.
Right.
And so
So the
somebody just
doctors told you in the
asked me that.
beginning that let me just share for a lot of people who don't know the acronym AKI, that's acute kidney injury. And that happens to a lot of people, especially what they're talking about with the COVID-19. A lot of people are having acute kidney injury, not chronic, because chronic is over the long term, but acute happens right away, and normally it's for a short period of time until the kidneys kind of restart back up.
Yeah, well, I think I heard on the news that from one doctor of CNN or MSNBC that 60% of the victims in Wuhan, China, had kidney disorders after the coronavirus. And I had some kidney issues before, but it was enhanced because I believe that the double pneumonia and flu I had was actually coronavirus because I had the chills. I didn't want to eat. I couldn't taste my food. It was hard to smell stuff and vomiting. It was just a horrible, horrible time. And I was most like a dead battery just running out of gas. And when I drove myself to the hospital, uh, I was trying to walk up the hill, and finally I just told my wife, "Please go get a wheelchair. I cannot take another step. I got no more energy." And
I mean,
she did.
and you
And
doing all this,
yeah.
you doing all this while you running a music ministry, running your church, and doing other things that you're involved in as well.
Yes, sir. There were many days when I did my talk show. It was a miracle. I had just gotten out of the hospital on a Saturday because I was trying to go play in church on Sunday, but I had to. When I got out of the hospital last year, I had pneumonia, and I
Wow.
forced my way out of the hospital for 5 days, and I drove myself back home with my wife. She went upstairs, opened the door. I was at the bottom of the stairwell, ready to walk up 3 flights, asking God for help because what happens when you're on dialysis, if you're diabetic, sometimes the sugar gets low, and it just happens like
Yep.
a crash. And
Yep.
so I couldn't really say anything. It was like a jigsaw puzzle of light, and I had to pull myself up one step at a time. I managed to walk through my apartment to my studio here and sit down. But when I sat down to look at the screen and start processing the talk show, I really couldn't see anything. And so I was weak with low sugar, and I yelled out to my wife, "Please, bring me some sugar. I need something now." And I didn't tell her I couldn't see. I just wanted to scare her. But eventually, I asked God, sitting in his chair, "I need some help today, God. I need you right now." And that's how I was able to function. And my guest actually fussed me out that if you need to be in the hospital, you should be in the hospital. I said, I have a commitment to my listeners, whoever they are. It might be just one. Sometimes, Steve, just one. But if
Yeah,
you can encourage
no,
one.
right, right. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
50, and I should be humble with whoever I got. I mean, really.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey,
Because
Steve, we had a question from Leslie. Sorry, Leslie. I know you. My brain just went blank. So much on my mind. But Pastor Steve, Leslie want to know if it comes to a point where you may have to go on dialysis, do you want to get a transplant?
do I want to get one?
Right. If it
Oh,
comes to that
well, yeah.
point.
Yes, because I want to be new. This is a horrible lifestyle. This is a horrible. Listen, I thank you, Leslie. Yes, and I was told that I can't drink uh, more than 4 glasses of 8 ounces, which is 32 ounces, which I seem to overdo, and I have to get 3.5 or something when they take the fluid out of my legs and all that. My legs look like uh, they look old now. Um, I when I look at dialysis, I look at people and I say, are they dying? Because they look like they're just going away. And that's why I never really liked the aspect of dialysis because I lost a friend, a musician. He was in dialysis. Next thing I know, he was gone. So that
Mm,
just affected me. And I look at them and it just kind of seemed to be kind of withering away. And I don't want that. Um, I'd rather die whole than do that.
right. Now,
Yeah.
have you thought about doing home dialysis and having First Lady help you?
I've thought about it. Well, here's my mindset. My mindset, I don't want none of this. That's my mindset. I'm ready to get out and alleviate this forever. However, if it ever comes to this, then it will be the home dialysis with the access in your stomach, is what it says here, as opposed to the arm, because my arm, yeah, I think I talked to you and said that the fingers are getting numb, and I can't afford that as a musician, as a keyboard player, to have not be able to feel my fingers so I can know how to play. I've been playing for 50 some years, 53 as a matter of fact, so I can't afford to
Oh,
let
wow.
that go. I started age
Wow.
4, classical music. Yeah, yeah. My whole
So
family was musical. Uh,
tell us about that, about music. How has that helped you deal with kidney disease?
well, playing gospel music is my joy, and I do it when I've lost hope. I'll do it when I'm sad. I lost my mother, my favorite aunt. I went to the keyboard, started playing. When I'm in love, I compose songs. And matter of fact, when I get off this program, if it's not too late, I should go and sing a song to my wife and let her know I love her because she's
Right, right.
so it's what I do. It's who I am. It's all I know. If I can't play, matter of fact, my dream was that I'm playing in church and playing a Greek chord from heaven. Okay, and I play and I lay my hands on it, and the church, they start shouting, they go up, and then I die. Yeah, and I fall down on off the
Wow.
orchestra.
Wow.
That's hardcore music stuff right there.
Yeah. Let me send a shout out to Dorothy O'Bannon. She's watching from Baltimore. Thanks, Dorothy, for watching.
Hey,
Um,
all right.
I mean, a lot of these people in Baltimore, advocates, a lot of pastors. Um, is this a big problem in Baltimore dealing with diabetes and hypertension?
Yes, it is, especially if you're going to talk about the church, because after service, if you got some good cooks in the kitchen, it's kind of hard when I'm either in the playing the Hammond or maybe maybe giving a sermon. It's kind of hard to keep your mind focused on the word And on the
When you're
music,
smelling
when
the
you smell the
food.
good fried chicken, I said, Lord have mercy. Can we? Can the pastor hurry up, preach and finish the sermon so we get back in there and
Right.
get that golden fried chicken at the and you know, a lot of times you can get seconds and thirds, and then you fall asleep in the reception hall. You saying?
Right.
And you're not exercising or doing nothing. Next thing you know, you're back for the afternoon service, and like cake and the sweet, really super sweet cane sweet sugar, tea and all that. It's not good for you. You don't eat healthy. So yes, basically black folk period. Matter of fact, yesterday somebody brought me some steak burgers and
Oh
some
my
greens
God.
and
Come on, man.
I got a Christian jazz band, so my drummer, my buddy, he lives around the corner, and I used to fuss him out. We've been living within 5 minutes from each other for 10 years, and I rarely ever saw you except for rehearsal. So I mean, can you come by once in a time, say hello to me? So he said, what you doing? I said, I'm in the house. He said, listen, open your door about 2 minutes. So he had 2 plates of food, one for my wife, one for myself. And as greedy as I am, sir, I'm still greedy. I took all 4 burgers, took it from her. I ate 2 and told her, this is for men, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat this for you. Don't worry about it. So I got in trouble. And
Yeah,
another friend of mine
man,
gave
you
me,
gotta lay off the steak burger.
yeah, sorry about that. Another friend of mine gave me, what did he give me? He gave me barbecue wings, and he gave me some other food. So I had 2 dinners coming my direction. And so, Steve, I didn't ask for this. It was just pressed
Well,
upon
let
me
me
to do
ask
it.
you, Pastor, did you take your binders with your meals?
Oh, Lord, yes, I took those horse pills, blue and white, and I got now I just had a
Yeah, as
refill
long as you took those
all
binders, the bind that phosphorus, right? Because that's very
yeah.
important. Taking that phosphorus binders, very, very.
Yeah.
If you don't do anything else, take those binder medicines with the food, not before or after, but with the meals.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
in order for it to work, you have to take it with the meals. Like soon as you
well, I'm
start
going to put that.
eating, pop the pills.
Well, I'm going to put that into practice because when I finish here, I went out to Sorrento's and they have a, a new merger with Kirkwood. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't stop at the pizza stop, so give me applause for that. I love pizza, but I
All
went
right.
over. I went over. Hallelujah! I went over into the Kirkwood side, and I got me a corned beef, a large, and I got half a slab of ribs. So normally I could eat all that in one
What?
sitting. However,
I
careful,
have
sir,
a
careful.
slab of ribs.
Shh, don't tell nobody. And so, but I modified my behavior. I'm only going to eat probably 1 or 2 ribs instead of the whole slab, and I'm gonna ration it out and save it. I'm doing better, trying to modify my behavior.
Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere. But so I guess that the renal diet doesn't have any comparison to the slab of ribs.
Sir, the renal diet is almost like a bland. You can't eat. Let me say I can't eat certain beans. I can't eat. It's not supposed to eat cheese. You can't have milk. I mean, all the favorite things I like.
Right,
To
right.
kill, you know. Matter of fact, I
Yeah.
lost my brother.
Shout out to,
He
huh?
was. I lost my brother. He was a pastor too.
You said-
He had kidney issues. He had a transplant, uh, but he didn't die from this. He died from something else with the blood. But he had the same issues. It kind of runs in the family.
Right, right. And I want to give a shout out before I move on right quick before she hop off to Christina Flowers. Uh,
Oh,
she's
okay.
watching from
What's that?
my watch party, and I just
Okay.
want to wish her thoughts and prayers. They're going down to Annapolis tomorrow to fight for the homeless population. I mean, it's the disgrace in what Baltimore City is doing with the homeless population in respect to this COVID-19. So Christine Flowers, homeless advocate, and Larry Wallace, her director
All
of
right.
homeless outreach, they're
Yeah.
taking the bandwagon of folks down to Annapolis, Maryland, to hold a news conference on the steps of the Capitol where Governor Larry Hogan is. So hopefully they'll be able to get something going down there and get a change for the homeless population in Baltimore City and rid the people in power of the corruption that goes on in that city and the mismanagement of funds that's being diverted from the homeless population to other frivolous affairs.
Is she still there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let her know this is my health issues is why I haven't been back out to do things. My battle is every day internally. So hopefully, if I can get healthy again, and come back out because I used to help her out. I was just fighting
No, she
even when I did that.
understands, and she's commenting in my watch party, and she understands. She know what I'm doing on this side. I love to help her as well, but I can't, what I do can't always be there. But I mean, I definitely in support of what she does, and we're going to do another show, Christina. I promise you. I just been busy, and I know you've been busy too. But you know, you can do what you can do. But she knows where your heart is. If you've been out there with her, she knows who the real
Mhm.
ones are and who aren't.
Yep.
And she said, I know, and she said she love you.
Oh, now that's worth everything. Thank you. I love you too. Bless you. I feel better now. Yes, sir.
Yes. No, but Pastor Steve, this is what I'm trying to get across to a lot of people, especially in DC, Baltimore. Kind of started out in Baltimore because that's where I was living at the time, but I'm from DC. Is that diabetes and hypertension are the two leading causes of kidney failure. And within Baltimore City, there's, I don't want to say hundreds because I'd be over embellishing it, but I mean, at least up to 70 to 80 clinics. And like 5 minutes, like John Hopkins in that area, within the 5 mile radius, there's 17 dialysis clinics, and they're just
That makes
steadily
no.
growing.
It's a Fortune 500 company. I think I was talking to you. You said Warren Buffett is a part owner.
Oh yeah. Well,
This is
he's a big investor, Warren Buffett, in the Vita. And what I try to explain
yeah.
to a lot of people by having worked with DaVita, it's not the company. The company, puts out the propaganda that really loves you. It's the people that work with you, that the direct front line people. Because if DaVita and these big companies did, they wouldn't cut costs and take away certain supplies and do this and do that. They would be nonprofit. But by them being a Fortune 500 company, they had shareholders. And those people that invest money, they got to get they got to get a return on their money called earning per shares.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm thinking that this whole situation is systemic. If you go to, there are no really good supermarkets and health stores in the urban area. If you go in and grab from any urban or Japanese store or whatever it is on the corner, you grab a soda, you look at that most highest concentration of sugar, anywhere from 50 to almost sometimes 80 in a bottle of soda. Nothing but fried food, sweets, and all that. It's an unhealthy diet. Uh, they are there only in the in concentration in the black community. Let's put BLACK for profit, and I can't see where they're trying to help you get better. They're doing a
Right.
procedure, but it's not really helping you to get better. If you were helping to get better, you could probably do some alternative stuff and do it in that respect. But they want you to come in. They want your body to drain you out of everything and, and make the money, and then eventually
Right.
once you die, because every day I see somebody getting wheeled out or gurneys coming in, the EMTs and all that. I'm like, this is not a good place to be.
Wow.
And then when you croak over, you'll probably have your parts harvested. So the question is, where are all those patients going who died from the coronavirus? Their families couldn't see them after they
Right.
went in. You didn't see them when they came out. When they come out, they're in trailers. What are you going to do with them? Are they going to be a
Right.
scientific project? Are they going to harvest their
I
parts?
don't know, but
Something.
one
Yeah.
thing I do want to say, and I hate to bring up any past stuff, but I'm not throwing any shade when I say this. So please, Christine, I know
Did I?
no, you meant well, but see, this is what I was talking about. Uh, 2 years ago, they did a great effort in passing out food at Langston Hughes Rec Center, the boxes from FEMA that had all the the sausage and everything, all the food that wasn't good. I respect the effort, but see
No.
now when Malcolm X says the chickens come home to roost, all that stuff, they had 500,000 boxes of junk food distributed in the neighborhood, Vienna sausages, chocolate products, expired peanut butter crackers. But they didn't know. But the point is, where did all that food go? People had to eat it. And now we got the coronavirus. Again, the chicken has come home to roost. And so if you eat anything, I really suggest trying to eat, foods. If you're in a disadvantaged population, just at least try to get some apples, places that are passing out produce like fruit, vegetables, oranges, carrots, potatoes. Instead of getting the stuff that's coming in the package, which will affect your immune. It's not going to boost it up. It's going to lower it.
Not just that, but don't trust anything from FEMA, from the federal government. No, if they give me free, I'll just take a check. But otherwise than that, no, because you don't know what they did to it. Chemical indoctrination.
It came from a third party. I checked out the box. It came from a third party, but contracted by FEMA. But I get the point. But the whole point is that all this is happening in urban communities, which put a lot of people at risk and vulnerable to chronic illnesses. And then when such a virus like the coronavirus comes through, a lot of people that fall victim are people in the minority community. And they're doing what they say: wear masks. You got the mask, or you can't get a hold of masks. Lack of resources in some places, in other places there aren't lack of resources. So again, I definitely admire what Christine Flowers is doing and what she's trying to accomplish. I say she's going to be, and she doesn't believe me, but she's going to be another Mitch Snyder. And for a lot of people who are not old as I am, I'm 55 years old. Mitch Snyder was a big homeless advocate back in the like 70s and 80s, and I believe maybe later part of the 60s, but up in DC, and he started a shelter in DC. And unfortunately, he committed suicide, but he done more good than that tragic part of his life. He done more for the homeless up in DC and nationally than a lot of people have done. And I feel that Christine Flowers is going to be, or is, the next Mitch Snyder as far as the female version. I just hope she doesn't go and do something stupid like Mitch Snyder done. But other than that, she is the next Mitch Snyder. So Pastor Steve, what's your biggest support system dealing with kidney disease?
Unequivocally, it is God and my wife.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, every time I go to, I have to go 3 times a week. So every time I go, she goes with me.
Really? Does she sit in the car?
She stays. No, she stays in the lobby.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We had read something that dialysis units were making family members sit in the cars.
Careful. Well, I am not trying to start trouble, but my wife ain't sitting in no car, and so she's has favor. She's a queen. You don't put a queen in a car. Queen sits on the throne. So she has favor with the receptionist. She sits there, minds her business. She wears her mask and gloves and watches the channel, the Love Channel, when they have all those romantic things, and she's happy.
Oh, soap opera.
Yeah, I forgot.
Wait a minute.
L&M or whatever.
Does any other patient family member sit in the lobby?
I ain't got nothing to do with that, sir. I'm just worried about my queen. I don't know about that. Maybe one person.
No, but Pastor Steve, the reason why I'm asking, because we did a show on COVID-19 and had somebody from the New York State COVID-19 task force. I know they're not in Maryland, and how many people in New York, as far as dialysis patients, are affected by the COVID-19. And I even seen papers where they have the staff, that they give the patient's family, saying they got to sit in the car and wait until the family member is ready for dialysis. And you're telling me at the unit you go to, that's not being practiced, or it's being practiced and your wife got favor?
I'm saying that I read the paper. Actually, one of the patients got mad and said, "Well, she's not supposed to be here." And I said, "Ma'am, you need to mind your business. Thank you." And so she tried to do it and didn't work. And so she has favor. That's all I can say.
Nah, that's awesome. Look, I ain't got no beef. I don't work for David. I ain't got no beef. But yeah, hey, that's awesome.
My queen. Yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to raise,
go ahead, sir.
And no disrespect, is with this company, the inconsistency, right? Okay. The inconsistency. God bless that your wife able to sit in the lobby, because that's how it was before. And for this virus to come along, and if you don't display symptoms, or your wife, you've been coming there all this long and she's not coughing, and why sit in the car? I mean, it just, I mean, I know they want to protect people, but at the same time, it can't go on like this for
forever.
so long.
Right. I mean,
What's your thought?
she wears her mask in. She wears her mask in. She gets her temperature checked, and she goes and sit down. Uh, if this persists, and can I be honest?
Sure.
Okay. If I see Dr. Fucci again, I'm gonna choke him. I'm just tired of looking at him. He's more like a rock star now, and his predictions and his diagnosis is really irritating me. But the point is that something has to be done, but you can't keep people out of work and out of if you could get unemployment and it would not have a, a doofus system that the person should be fired. And we should just have, I mean, calculate what it should be done is Governor Hogan should actually calculate how many biweeklies that they would have to give on unemployment. It's not working. So just figure it up, tally it up, and write a bailout check for everybody that's been waiting around and call it a day. And we might even reelect him. But as it goes now, no, I don't, no. He needs to be. I hate to think because he's been pretty good. I don't want to do him like I would like to do the orange one in D.C., where you just take him by his heels, drag him out, tie him up, put him on a boat, and kick him out of his country.
Yeah, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Let me ask you: Have your doctor talked with you about transplant, or have your kidney doctor mentioned or prepared you for end-stage renal disease to be prepared?
I don't want to be prepared, but no. Let me see. Which doctor you talking about? I got so many.
The kidney doctor.
You mean Dr. Eric Brown, or are you talking about Dr. Koya?
Either one that you see regularly.
Okay, I'll talk about Dr. Koya. No, he's not said anything about that. I just asked him, when can I get up out of here forever? He said, well, you've only been with us 4 weeks. I've been looking at least 90 days to figure out if the kidneys are going to turn themselves around. So, that's where it's
at. Wow. So what's on the horizon?
On the horizon, you mean events, or you talking
about?
Well,
can you share a little bit about your radio show, Elevation Radio?
Oh, well, thank you, sir. Okay. It's a program that comes on Saturdays at 5:30 on Blog Talk Radio, and is also whatever we record is actually played again at Positive Power 21, which is on Spreaker and iHeart and Spotify and some other. We really deal with some Christian Talk podcast that deals with hard issues, and we touch on some political aspects, some national news, and occasionally some global, but mainly we deal with the Christian issues and topics and things that affect the community. So, you've been on it twice, and have very heavy subject matter. And, if you'd like to, someone like to be on it, that'd be great. You can send us your photo and bio, if I can say that, to elevationradio1@gmail.com. That's elevationradio1@gmail.com. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me put that on there. Elevation Radio 1 at Gmail. Oh, I know somebody. I know the perfect people. If this is it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me wait a minute. Let me change that. I did a mistake. I put an exclamation point in there. I mean, mark. So elevation. Oh, geez, here we go again. I'm rushing. I put an exclamation instead of the one. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Elevation Radio 1 at gmail.com.
That's it right there, right? Can you
Can't
see
see
that
it.
on the? So,
No, sir.
yeah. So Lisa Baxter, if you're watching, she would be a great guest. Lisa Baxter, Miss Lena Brunson. Um, you got a lot of other people that's spiritually inclined that I can't really think about. Miss Betty Mayweather, Miss Verna Johnson. Yeah, I mean, anybody watching this and you want to be on Pastor Steve Turner's show on Elevation Radio 1, please email them, elevationalradio1 at gmail.com. I mean, it's not hard at all to get on the show. I mean, he definitely sent out the invitation. So this would be a great opportunity if somebody was on the transplant list and they're trying to further their horizons and looking for a donor. You can talk about it on Elevational Radio 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is other outlets for you instead of just, maybe Facebook or another platform that you may be using. This would just be another platform through Pastor Turner. And you never know who may be listening and call Pastor Turner and say, oh, I think I may want to donate or seek out something. You just never know because it's broadcast all over. You said iHeartRadio, right? So that means it's streaming worldwide.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, let me put that back up there again. If anyone's interested in being a guest on Pastor Steve Turner's Elevational Radio 1, contact them at elevationalradio1 at gmail.com. Awesome. So as we kind of get ready to close out this broadcast, Pastor Turner, what do you want people to know about kidney disease and your experience so far dealing with these big companies such as DaVita?
Well, I had an incident maybe the 17th of April where I was in the chair and they, I heard them say it's 7 o'clock, but they came to me at 6:30 to unplug me and unhook me. And I asked him what was going on. He said, you're getting out. So I figured, yeah, okay, it's all right. He wanted me to sign a paper. And I said, well, let me look at the paper first before I sign it. I got to figure out what I'm signing. I could be signing my life away. And it was a early termination of treatment. And that if I've had chest pains and fallout, I would be releasing them from all litigation and things of that nature. And I said, what are you trying to kill me? You think I'm crazy? I'm not signing that. So I took it with me. And let's make a long story short. When I called the rectoress to talk to her and tell her I wanted to transfer, she said, why? I said, because, I got this early termination paper and they wanted me to sign it. And she was livid. She said, no, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere for what? And so person tried to put me out, but it didn't work out. So, but if you got put out and it was a blackball, I was told from other centers, then you would have a hard time finding anywhere to go, which means that unless you went to the hospital, you would literally die. So that scared me. And so, uh, I just had to establish the fact that by handling things the proper way, that not to play with me. You can't play with people. You used to play with black folk, and that's not a good thing. When you're capturer, your warden, is black like you. You think they should, embrace you, but it's not that way. It's like a plantation. This is the new plantation, and go back to the same thing that we are the new cotton. But I'm not going to let anybody run over me, and you're not going to guinea pig me. And I got my eyes open, and I'm checking out things, and that's what you got to do. You got to be alert. And I thank God that I ran into you, Steve, because there are a lot of things I would not have known, like when the machine starts going off, that the blood is clotting, because no one tells you anything. There's no class on this. There's no education. You're just thrown into the war zone of a war between you, the doctor, and DeVita. And it's every man for himself. God for us all.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's why I do what I do, man, because there's no education really. And now with this coronavirus, they ain't got time to do nothing but do the treatments and try not to catch the coronavirus and make sure the patients don't have it. So
don't forget now, on Fridays, they got to hurry up, get out, so they want to get you out of there.
I mean, that is true, especially after working a 15-hour day. Yeah. Miss Verna
I guess
Jones
I was
watching. She would be a great guest on your show. Yes.
Okay.
Let me put that banner there one more time, Miss Verna. If you want to be a guest on Pastor Steve's radio show, it's elevational radio1@gmail.com. So, all right, Pastor Turner.
Can I give my number? Can I give my number? Everybody don't have email or computer.
Sure. What's the number?
Is that possible?
Sure.
410-302-2737.
All right, I'm putting it on the screen now. If you want to reach out to Pastor Steve Turner to be on Elevation Radio 1, here's his number, 410-302-2737. Pastor Turner, this has been
Let them know I'm married now. Be careful.
Oh, no, it ain't all like that. But anyway, it's been a great show. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come on and share your story and what's going on with you in Elevation Radio 1. Definitely look forward to collaborating with you in the future to get this message out and to get your message out as well.
Thank you, sir.
She said, love to help.
Oh,
Miss
okay.
Johnson. Yeah. And she's on Facebook, so they follow me as well. So you're part of my Facebook group as well, Pastor Turner. So hopefully we get you some more guests and get their stories out, and it just be another pathway to share their story.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank your wife, Lenore Turner. Leora. Yeah. I'm sorry, Miss Turner. Leora Turner.
Queen.
For all her support, and she's been chiming in on the Facebook watch party, and I'd like to thank her for coming on that. And I encourage each of you to share the broadcast as well.
Fantastic.
All right, Pastor Turner. Well, thank you again for coming on Smashing Kidney Disease on Urban Health Outreach Media. We'll definitely be talking with you soon.
Bless you, sir.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Steve Turner out of Baltimore, Maryland, Elevation Radio 1. So this has been an awesome show. I know we kind of scared off a little bit. We talked about homelessness. We talked about Baltimore City, talked about Annapolis. But all this is a result of the COVID-19. Homelessness been around way before COVID-19, right? Now just think about all the people who can't go back to work because of this and may lose their job, that don't have any savings. What about the people working from paycheck to paycheck? These are the things that we got to think about when we say stay home, don't open back up. We have to do that responsibly in stages, because again, one person may have a stack of money saved up and can say, oh, stay home, don't open back up. Well, you got another person that only has $15 in their checking account. What do they do? No family, no one to give them money, but they dependent on their job. What does that person do with $15 left in their checking account? So I believe it should open responsibly in stages. Go back with the mask, hand sanitizer, and go about your business. People are losing their homes. They're not eating. You see the food lines for the food banks. What do you do? So before one starts to say, stay home, don't open nothing up, think about if you were in the situation of only having $5 or $10 in the bank and no support, no mom, no dad, no brothers and sisters, no family members, just yourself, right? And maybe a child. What do you tell that child? And you only have $15. How do you pay for your gas, your car note, your insurance, the other bills you had that you were paying before COVID-19, your school loans, your credit cards? What do you do? Nobody wants to hear, I'd rather be alive than all the other bills and that, because after this is swept away, do you think the landlord and the people you owe money to going to say the same thing? No, they want their money. So this is not a simple solution for anyone, especially for people who are on the brink of losing their home. What do you tell them? And they're about to lose a roof over their head. So that's my spiel on it. I have no sides to this. I'm neutral, but you also have to look at the other side. When people saying stay home, don't open back up. Well, what about the people who got children that's starving and they don't have no income? What do you tell them? I don't want to hear, oh, tell them they'll be safe. Oh, you could be protected because you didn't go out, but yet they're going to bed hungry. Give me a break. No one should go to bed hungry. I don't care if coronavirus, whatever virus, no one should go to bed hungry. So think about that. When you telling people don't open back up, you may got food in your house, you may got stack of money in your bank account and able to ride it out for a couple of years. A lot of people can't even ride it out a couple of months. So just think about that when you're sitting in your plush home and feet up and you're watching reruns and stuff like that. You got other people that are hungry and they're going to sleep hungry and homeless. So with that being said, Thank you, guys. I got it off my chest, and you won't hear no more about this. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and stay blessed. Peace.
Yo, it's about to go down. I said, yo, it's about to go down.